Congressman Paul continues with us here online at firstbusinessx.com. And Congressman, on the television show, you were talking just about how the currency issues continue to be a big problem for the United States, a drag on the economy and internationally. Would you support a global monetary system, perhaps a global central banker?
Would I support a global, what was that?
A global central banker in the guise of the European Central Bank or the Federal Reserve of the United States, but a global central bank.
No, I don't even need we don't even need our central bank. There's no authority in our Constitution for a central bank. Jefferson and Jackson got rid of our national bank, and we need eventually get rid of central economic planning through a central bank. So it is opposite of capitalism. Capital comes from savings. We don't save anything. So that's why we have to not tax savings and not tax dividends and not tax inheritance, so that capital can be preserved. We don't have capitalism in that sense. We have no savings, and what do? We go to the Federal Reserve and say, create capital. And they get capital by diluting the value of the dollar that you have in your pocket.
Well,
we don't need central banks.
We're a consuming economy here, and a consuming economy, if it would switch to a savings economy, would likely see a significant slowdown, I would imagine.
Well, but you have to get things back into balance. You just can't consume forever. You can't keep borrowing forever. You can't keep inflating forever. Eventually, you have to start saving. But what you're mentioning is very true. You have to tighten your belt. If you as an individual overspent, yes, your economy would have to slow down because you'd have to pay off your debt, work harder, and work your way out of it. And a nation has to do this. We're addicted to easy money and easy spending, and the medicine is tough to take. And that's why the politicians...
Couldn't we look at Japan as an example that had a huge market run-up in the 80s only to fall into better than a lost decade of economic malaise, in part because it was such a saving country. Its citizens saved a lot of money but weren't spurred on to consume much.
Yeah, but it's just taken that long to iron out their malinvestment. It was way overbloated in the 80s when their stock market was up to nearly 40,000, and this is what we're facing. The correction is going to be difficult. Look how long it took to really get out of our depression. Once you try to prop up markets and prevent the cleansing of the market and the elimination of the bad debt and the bad investment, the more you delay that, the longer this lasts. And this is exactly what we're doing in the housing bubble. We're not allowing the correction to come. But we have too many houses. We have to admit that. Prices have to come down. But politically, nobody wants to allow that to happen. So they keep pumping hard to keep that bubble afloat. And they've done it pretty well over 20 years or so, keeping things going. But this one, they're going to have trouble keeping the bubble inflated, and that's why the dollar is telling us, beware, big times, there's some big things coming in the near future.
Let's talk about the housing market a little bit, because as you know, it's really certainly a local market as opposed to a national market when it comes to real estate. But yet, some of your colleagues in the House Financial Services Committee have talked about re-regulating some of the mortgage industry. Are these proposals you support?
No, not re-regulation. We want the market to regulate. We don't want all this propping up. I mean, this is what we've had, a regulated market. Not only have we had the distortions of artificially low interest rates, we've had all these housing programs and all these regulations. And in one way, they say don't have subprime mortgages, and yet we have all these laws and regulations that insist the bank make some of these loans. And then when they go bad, then we have to bail them out. I'm such a strong believer in the market economy. We don't need this central economic planning, whether it's in the housing industry or the medical industry or the financial industry. Here we have Republicans elected to office to deregulate, and what do we get? Sarbanes-Oxley. That certainly hasn't helped.
It's something that obviously you support getting rid of. Real quick, in our final moments here, Congressman, as president in the White House, if you had a market to look at in the Oval Office, what would be top of mind? What financial or capital market would you always be looking at?
I look at the dollar. The dollar to me is the most important thing that we watch. That is the true measurement. All countries destroy their currencies when they extend themselves too far, when their empire goes around the world. Russia, the Soviets didn't have to have a war to stop them. Their economy collapsed. But in our case, watch the dollar. The dollar goes down, we're in for big trouble.
There we go. Ron Paul, Republican presidential candidate, Texas Congressman. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.